It's a big week in the NFL, as every week is around the NFL. But I want to go over a couple of teams that are in, I believe, must-win situations this week. Not necessarily just for playoff implications, but just to kind of get them back on the right track, confidence-wise. Stay afloat, man. Just like there's a lot of disarray, a lot of dysfunction already in the NFL with a couple of those teams. And I got to start off right now. I'm going to start off with the New York Jets.
Okay.
And I was saying the MESS mess, because it always seems like the Jets, no matter who's on that team, the organization, the franchise is just always dysfunctional in some kind of way. And sometimes you got to put some of the blame on Woody Johnson, man, since he's taken over the team, man. Like, they have not been the same team ever since Bill Parcells left as the head coach there. They are, obviously, they fired the head coach in Robert Saleh. So now then they took the play calling duties away from Hackett. Now you got a new head coach in there to try and turn the team around. And you're relying, once again, we was talking about the Jets with Rich Eisen. They're relying on a quarterback who's in his 40s coming off of an Achilles injury to be the savior of this team. And I don't believe he is the savior. Once again, as I was talking about with Rich, I believe you got to look at Aaron Rodgers as the Denver Broncos looked at Peyton Manning back in the day. Hey, be good enough to lead us. Be good. Great players and elite players. Elite players are the ones that can take a team that is good to mediocre and make them much better and have them rise. Great players, along with other great players, can win Super Bowls. Good players who are still efficient need other good, great players around them to be great. At this point in his career, Aaron Rodgers is just a good player. I don't think he's great. He's definitely not an elite player in the league anymore. He's not. Patrick Mahomes is elite. Lamar Jackson is elite. C.J. Stroud is becoming elite. I want to see more out of him. He's got to be more consistent. I think to be an elite player, you got to do it at least 2 or 3 seasons in a row. Right now, Aaron Rodgers, if you remember his days back in Green Bay, was good. Won an MVP, don't get me wrong. His final season with the Green Bay Packers. But coming off an injury last year, give him a break with that. Only, 5 games into this season right now, not the same player. Obviously, the offense is good. Like 2 weeks ago against the Denver Broncos, give him a little leeway, a little grace, because it was sloppy conditions out there.
Yeah, pouring down rain.
But once again, I want to see how this offense is different. And now if you're that guy, if you're Aaron Rodgers, and if you're there and you're the offense coordinator, if you're the coach of the New York Jets right now, you got to basically say, hey, man, I got to take the keys away from you. I can't run the offense that you necessarily want to run. I got to run the football. I got to get motion. I got to get things in order to get this offense going. So the Jets, one of those teams that's in a must-win situation, I believe, against the Bills. And if they win, once again, they're in first place in the AFC East, and that's so crazy. Another team that's in a must-win situation, how about the Cincinnati Bengals, guys?
Dude.
1-4 on the season.
Mike, that seems a little dire. That's what I'm saying. When we're saying the Cowboys are dire, yeah, but we got a little leeway. The Bengals, that really seems like that's dire straits to me.
And they got to get their defense together. Can I tell y'all something right now? I mean, the offense is outstanding. Joe Burrow, if they were playing, I will say this: the positives for the Cincinnati Bengals is that Joe Burrow is balling out of control. Mm-hmm. If this team were better record-wise, we'd be talking about Joe Burrow as an MVP this year,
without question.
Easily. All right,
Jamar
Chase balling. Right? See, they're balling on offense. The defense can't stop a nosebleed right now. Can't stop a nosebleed. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the New York Giants are just 2-3 this season. But as a Giants fan, and once again, as a fan of my teams, I'm always glass half full, glass half empty, but I'm as critical as they come when it comes to my teams. I'm not that person. I'm sometimes cautiously optimistic, but I don't jump on that bandwagon and say we're going to beat the world or anything. I have limited expectations sometimes because I've been disappointed in the past because my daddy didn't come around and pick me up on Saturdays like he said he was. So I was being on the stoop waiting for him to come. I'm like, he's coming this weekend, and he never came. So I've been disappointed.
Mike, get off his back, all right?
Yeah, he just never came back. He went to get milk from another family. That's where he went to get milk from.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
don't open up wounds. Don't open up wounds.
Also explains your Cowboys hate now. So I'm better with it now. Now
understand.
There's a reason.
You understand. I don't want to see your family happy because my family is dysfunctional. That's problem. That's what haters do.
I didn't get it before.
I do believe that this Giants team, even though they're 2-3 this season, they are a much better team than their record indicates.
I think so. Daniel Jones has been playing really well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So like Tyrone Tracy's come in, filling the steps of Devin Singletary. Has been banged up. No Malik Neighbors this week. That's second week in a row. Still dealing with the lingering effects of that concussion.
That concerns me.
Thursday night. It was really bad.
Yeah, I mean, when he got hurt against the Cowboys, he went down. I didn't know what the injury was until
literally
later.
The last play of the game, pretty much.
Last play of the game, he comes down, he goes into the locker room. I'm like, what's wrong? And I thought maybe, okay, the Giants still had a chance to come back in the game. I'm like, why is he going to the locker room? It just seemed like he got the wind knocked out of him. The fact that he missed last week's game against Seattle and probably going to miss this week's game as well against Cincinnati, that concerns me because if you're still in concussion protocol for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, that's bad.
I mean, concussions obviously is something that you never want to deal with. You never want to have to, you don't play around with when you're a player or anybody outside of that. And I'm glad that the NFL is doing a better job when it comes to taking care of these players. But I'm concerned about the lingering effects for Malik Neighbors. So hopefully he can come back because he was having an outstanding season. But like you mentioned, Daniel Jones ain't bad.
Ain't bad
this year.
Playing pretty good.
And then Tracy stepping up the way he did. Some of these younger players coming on. The offense is starting to click. Starting to come around after a slow start. And the Giants easily could be 3-2 this season. Right? I mean, they could have been 4-1. I mean, the Cowboys, they played the Cowboys pretty tough. They just couldn't, the run game just couldn't get going for them against the Cowboys. And against the Commanders, if they would have had a healthy kicker in that game, they would have beaten Jayden Daniels and the Commanders, and the Giants could easily be in first place right now, tied with the Cowboys and with the Commanders in first place in the NFC East. So this is a tough game. It's not going to be a walkover game for the Bengals. I think the Bengals do have too much offense for that Giants defense, which still hasn't solidified totally. I still need to see more out of Burns. I need to see more out of Kayvon Thibodeau. Of course, Dexter Lawrence is a beast in the middle. He could be Defensive Player of the Year the way he's playing right now. But Bengals, must-win situation. They got to get back on track. You can't go to 1-5 or those doubts will start creeping in. The other team that's in a must-win situation, you can go both of these teams, Browns and the Eagles.
Ooh, big time.
For two totally different reasons. The Eagles coming off a bye. What are the Eagles? How are we feeling about the Eagles? What kind of team are we expecting out of? Is this the Eagles team that's going to turn things around, or is this the Eagles team that finished last season on that downward spiral and kept going? Jalen Hurts got to stop turning the football over. But I will give them this grace. They played a lot of games without A.J. Brown.
And Devontae Smith. Yeah, their two best weapons they really haven't had.
They haven't had. So I want to see them healthy, coming back. So once again, this is with him coming back, with those guys coming back, this is a must-win situation against a Browns team that is reeling. Browns have no offense. You're the Eagles. You should be able to shut them down right now. Deshaun Watson, I hear he's a nice guy. Outside of obviously some of the off-field situations that was going on, so I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody out there that might have been affected by that or whatnot. But I hear from some of the people that know him, he's a nice, and obviously he was a talented quarterback when he was with the Texans. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what's going on. We talked to, did Rich say something? We was talking about Kurt Warner, watching film on him. Like he doesn't even know what he's seeing out on the football field right now. I know he's under a lot of duress. I know he's getting sacked a ton of times right now, but Deshaun Watson that we saw with Houston, he was able to get out of those situations and make plays downfield. He's not doing that. Cleveland is in trouble, and if it wasn't for the money, Deshaun Watson would be on the bench right now. I would say this, if it wasn't for the money and if it wasn't for the fact that maybe they're looking at it and say, well, we go to Jameis, how much better is that? I mean, look, Jameis is from Bessemer, Alabama, where I went to high school and everything, and I love Jameis, don't get me wrong. But are they looking at Jameis and saying, do they have an upgrade if they do bench him? Is it going to get better? Stefanski's a two-time coach of the year. He knows what he's doing. Also, the only grace I give to the Browns is, once again, Nick Chubb should be coming back pretty soon. Yeah. You get that running game going again. If he's the Nick Chubb that we saw before he got hurt, the Browns are a different team with Nick Chubb there, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Obviously, the defense can be solid and do the things they need to do, but this is a must-win situation for both of those teams. The last team that I say is in a must-win situation, and this is not that's going to make or break them, but we want to see what the Cowboys are made of. Even though they've won 2 in a row, even though they beat the Giants, even though they beat the Steelers, whatever, I want to see them do this against an elite team. I want to see how the Cowboys step up against the Lions at home and, once again, not lose a home game. So that's another reason why this is a must-win situation, I believe, for the Dallas Cowboys. Because they have not shown that they are a good home team this year. Where last year, I don't think they lost a home game last year. I think they were on a long winning streak before they lost against the Green Bay Packers.
Facts.
But once again, I think that the Green Bay Packers showed the world how you beat the Cowboys. Run the damn football. If you can run the football, if you can be physical up front against that defense, you have a great chance. Get out in front, have Dak try and bring your team back or whatever, and until Dak can show that wherewithal to be able to do that, you got a great chance against guys. And Detroit is the team to beat right now in the NFC. They're physical. Jared Goff's playing. The defense is incredible. And if they get the lead, Hutchinson is about to tee off, bro.
Dude.
Hutchinson is about to tee off.
Yep.
So, once again, you cannot lose another. What are they, 0-2 at home this year, TJ?
Yeah.
0-2. How you going to be a contender in the NFC and you can't win your home games?
Well, Mike, my argument has been, throughout the whole offseason, people just joked about Dallas, said how they didn't improve the team. They were all in, but they didn't make any effort to make the team better. I just don't understand how it went from that all offseason to now they're a Super Bowl contender if they didn't do much to make the team better.
Because it's the Cowboys still.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
At the beginning of the season,
I guess I'm never going to understand.
But once again, you get the spotlight when things are great. You get the spotlight regardless, right? So if you can take the spotlight, you take the positive attributes that you get, right, when you're doing well, and you get all the notoriety, you're going to have to take the arrows when they come as well. And I believe the Cowboys, outside of the Niners, the Lions, who else? Green Bay Packers, that people are looking at as top teams in the NFC. The Cowboys definitely to win their division. Nobody expected y'all to be in. Nobody expected the Commanders to be this good. Don't get me wrong.
I thought the Eagles were the favorite.
I don't even think the Eagles were the favorite. The way the Eagles finished last year, I don't think the Eagles were the favorite. And that's, once again, that's why it's a must-win situation with the Eagles. Sirianni could lose his job. Mm-hmm. If they lose this week.
Oh, baby.
You think, though? There's a chance of that happening?
Bruh, if you lose to the Browns.
It feels like they're always teetering.
And you're coming off a bye week?
Yeah.
They've been on Sirianni's case for a while. I mean, there might have to be a change made there. I mean, like, hey, Woody Johnson
talking about the receivers. Can't believe I'm standing up for Sirianni and the Eagles.
Now you're getting them back, and you're doing it against the Browns. Lose against the Browns, find out what happened. Is that game in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Yeah, you lose against the Browns in Philadelphia, find out what happens.
They're almost 10-point favorites too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then look at the schedule coming: Cleveland, at New York, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to be better. Dallas, schedules at Baltimore. Yeah. I mean, look, the Eagles should be a good team.
Those are four winnable games right there between now and week 9.
But once again, you got to win them. You got to win them. You beat Green Bay to start the season, which was great. Lost to Atlanta, Kirk Cousins doing his thing and whatnot. New Orleans got that win after New Orleans had been a juggernaut the first 2 weeks of the season. Losing to Tampa ain't bad. Tampa's a good team. Don't get me wrong. But you can't look like you did against Tampa because you look bad against Tampa before the bye week. You look bad against Cleveland coming off your bye week. Nick Sirianni's in a lot of trouble. Once again, we'll see what happens.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.